Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Jess De Los Santos. Residents of Barangay Batasan Hills in Quezon City lined up to get their ECQ ayuda since yesterday. Yet despite the community quarantine, many of them waited in line past curfew up until this morning. Now, to shed more light on the matter, we have with us Barangay Batasan Hills Captain Jojo Abad. He's joining us on the line. Magandang umaga po, Cap.
Magandang umaga po sa inyo po at sa lahat po nakikinig.
Okay, so Cap, paano po umabot sa ganitong sitwasyon yung distribution ng ayuda dyan sa Batasan Hills? Ano po ang distribution guidelines natin dyan mismo sa Quezon City?
Sa ngayon po, lahat naman po ay nasa listahan. Yun naman po ang sinusunod natin. Nagkataon lang po kahapon na unang dagsa po ng pagbibigay po ng ayuda. Hapon na po kami nakapagsimula at ako po, dahil yung mga kabarangay po natin ay nagantay na, nakiusap po ako na sana po ay matapos na para po hindi po magalit ang mga tao sa atin. At nakiusap rin naman po ako sa mayor at tayo naman po ay napagbigyan naman po.
Okay, Cap, ayon din sa DILG, house to house daw yung pinakamainam na paraan para ipamahagi yung ating mga ayuda, no? Lalo na sa patuloy na pagtaas ng mga kaso ng COVID-19. Na-consider po ba natin na gawin itong option sa distribution natin?
Kami po sa barangay ay bukas naman po sa ganong pagsunod. At nag-aantay lang po kami ng mandato at kung sakali po mangyari po yun, ang barangay po ay nakahanda po.
Okay, sabi rin po sa guidelines, pwedeng bumuo ang mga barangay na mga committee na mag-handle ng mga complaints tungkol sa ayuda. Meron bang ganito ang Barangay Batasan Hills at meron na ba kayong mga natatanggap na complaint?
Meron po kaming help desk po kasama po ang Office of the Mayor, ang SSDG, para po doon sa mga grievances po ng mga hindi po naisama sa mga pangalan po doon sa master list po.
So kadalasan yung mga complaint tungkol doon sa mga hindi sila included doon sa listahan, ganun po ba?
Yes po, dahil nga po nagbase lang po tayo doon sa mga nakakuha po ng SAC form nung nakaraan po.
Okay, sinabi rin ho ng DILG na dapat i-post muna sa social media o sa website ang listahan ng qualified beneficiaries. Lahat ba na pumila ay kasama sa listahan? May mga pinauwi ba na walang natanggap?
Nakalista naman po lahat at yung iba po talaga nagbabakasakali lang po at yun po yung masakit dahil kahit anong paliwanag natin sa panahon ngayon medyo hindi po nila iniintindi hanggang hindi po sila nakikita ang final na listahan po.
Okay, Cap, meron pa ba tayong next round na inaasahan na ipamahagi na ba ninyo yung buong pondo sa inyong barangay and gaano katagal pa yung inaasahan ninyong pagpapaabot ng mga ayuda?
Sa ngayon po, pangalawang araw pa lang po yung pagbibigay po ng ayuda na alphabetical. At ito po, inaasahan po namin na tatagal po 10 hanggang 15 araw dahil meron po kaming 59,000 na qualified beneficiary na mabigyan po ng ayuda.
Okay, medyo mahaba-habang panahon pa. Maraming salamat po sa oras ninyo. That was Barangay Batasan Hills Captain Jojo Abad. Some LGUs in the NCR Plus bubble say the funds sent by the national government are not enough to cover all their target cash aid beneficiaries. This as more cities started rolling out the financial assistance for ECQ hit families. Mobile journalist Jacob Lazaro gives us a front seat to that story.
The government finally rolled out its cash aid for poor families affected by the imposition of the enhanced community quarantine last week. 23 billion pesos for almost 23 million people living in Metro Manila and 4 adjoining provinces. Jerry Dolor was one of them. A cargador in Divisoria, Jerry had no income because of the lockdown.
ECQ, medyo nahirapan po kami dahil yung namin panghanap buhay nasira, na-standby. Ay ngayon, nagpasalamat rin ako kay President or kay Mayor sa lahat mga staff na na tulungan rin kami na nabigyan ng ayuda na 4,000.
In Manila, beneficiaries were required to bring valid ID with photocopies and their own ballpen. Social welfare officers verify the names in a list before releasing the money. Officials say there are 4 levels of priority for the release of the money. First, beneficiaries of the Social Amelioration Program, or SAP, from last year. Second are those who had been waitlisted. And third, those who belong to the vulnerable groups like PWDs and single parents. And lastly, those identified by the LGU as affected by the ECQ, but subject to the availability of funds. In the barangay we visited, there were 10,000 families in all, but there was only enough money for 4,000 families.
Sa tutusin, malaking bagay na rin po kasi sa amin to. Malaking tulong na rin po ito. Pang bawas na rin po sa gastusin, lalo na po. Tulad nito, may utang rin po kami na babayaran namin.
Pambili po ng pangangailangan po namin. Especially po may anak po akong 3 taon po.
Those not in the list still have a chance to receive a cash aid.
Yung mga hindi nasama sa listahan, basta may available na pondo, pwede pong ma-accommodate. So meron naman po kami mga social worker dyan, may grievance committee po kami na uupo para doon sa mga reklamo.
Police tried to enforce health protocols, but with so many people eager to get their cash assistance, social distancing was a challenge. The distribution also went well past the 6 p.m. curfew. In the end, people lined up to collect last week's ayuda because they had no other choice. Malacanang says there will be no more cash assistance for this week's ECQ extension. Plus, medical experts are calling for yet another extension of the lockdown. For the people who live from day to day, today's money may not be enough, but it will have to do for now.
Na may pambili rin ako po ng gamot, pang maintenance. Sa diabetic po.
Diabetic po kayo.
At saka may po ako, may tama sa baga kunti.
Mahirap din po kasi. Hindi naman natin masasabi na kakapagkakasya mo to sa darating na ECQ uli o kaya lockdown. Mahirap din pong magkano ng pera na kikitain mo, magkano lang. Pero sa ngayon, kung gagawa na akong paraan, ganun na lang po gagawin ko.
I'm Jacob Lazaro and we are One News.
Health Undersecretary and Treatment Czar Leopoldo Vega says most major hospitals in NCR, as well as in Regions 3 and 4, are now in a critical position. With the continued spike in admission rates, Vega called on hospitals to further expand their COVID bed capacity to 50%. He specifically mentioned 6 big cities in NCR that are now at, quote, very high-risk position. These include Manila, Makati, Taguig, Malabon, Pasig, and Quezon City.
Most of this in 6 cities, I think, and here in the metropolis, and together with the other regions in Region 3 and Region 4, they do have a critical risk position. And that's the reason why we have been trying to make sure that the government or the retained hospitals in the metropolis will be able to expand their number of beds from 30 to 50%, especially the government-retained hospitals.
Given the critical situation in Metro Manila, some patients have opted to cross borders to receive medical attention. For one, the Perpetual Help Medical Center in Binyan, Laguna is seeing a surge in patients from outside the province.
Our COVID ward, our COVID rooms, ICU, ER has been full for almost 2 to 3 weeks now, ever since the surge started. And I would say, majority po ng aming COVID patients ay hindi po taga dito sa amin, sa Binyan. Majority po sa kanila ay nanggagaling po sa NCR, sa Metro Manila.
The country's Technical Advisory Group for Immunization believes that the approval of Sinovac's use on senior citizens is, quote, for the better. NITAG member Dr. Maria Consorcia Quizon said the recent FDA approval allows the rollout of Sinovac shots in accordance with the order of the priority list. Quizon explains that new data on Sinovac convinced experts that it is also effective and safe for use on the elderly. However, Quizon admits that the current supply of Sinovac shots may not be enough to cover the entire population of senior citizens. NITAG is confident, though, that there is sufficient demand for Sinovac among seniors. Quezon says vaccinating all elderly people will be prioritized upon the arrival of the next batch of its vaccines.
There's still some vaccine hesitancy, but we believe that there is a demand. And actually the worry, and the good worry as of the moment, is that there is a demand and we may not be able to supply with what we have now.
Regulators from the European Union and the UK still recommend the use of AstraZeneca despite its possible link to rare cases of blood clots. A British government advisory group said that as much as possible, the vaccine should not be given to individuals under 30. But an official said this warning was only out of utmost caution and not because of any serious safety concerns. The European Medicines Agency is also reminding health professionals and recipients to remain aware of possible blood clots, which they only consider as rare cases. EU's drug regulator has also yet to conclude if age or gender could cause an extra risk of blood clots among AstraZeneca vaccine recipients.
No specific risk factors could be identified based on the current data. The committee can therefore not recommend any specific measures to reduce the risk.
Our very own Disney legend has gone viral on TikTok. In a clip that has now been watched over 2 million times, Lea Salonga can be seen standing by a piano in a busy bar. She then starts to belt out lines from the iconic Mulan song, Reflection, which she first sang as the original singing voice for the animated character in 1992. The busy bar crowd was stunned into silence as a 50-year-old Broadway icon proved that her singing prowess is still top-notch to this day. Ready to be serenaded by the OG Disney legend? Watch this. And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us later at 12 noon as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Jess De Los Santos. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.